I'm sure a lot of you are looking at these combos and it doesn't really make much sense. What's the Quiver and Prison counter? And why am I highlighting the Quiver number sometimes? Why do a basic attack 5 before the stun? How come you get dash attacks without needing to use the aim shot? And just what in the world is going on with that ultimate? Well, if you break down the character's kit and really understand how it all works, then hopefully you will learn how to get the most value out of Harumasa's combos in any situation. You know what? Why not comment down below with the longest combo you've done with Harumasa before seeing this video? It's less than 19, and hopefully I can teach you how to get that number up. This isn't a guide about motion values, stats, teams, and the like. There's plenty of good general Harumasa guides out there already. This is a combo guide. Well, more like a mechanics guide, but one that'll also teach you how to combo. I'll take you through how Harumasa's stacking mechanic works, some useful tech, and then show off examples of different combo variations to get you started. So let's get cracking. Harumasa works on a stack-based system that revolves around Electro Quivers and Electro Prism. Electro Quivers are the traps that you see lying around in the field. They have a maximum cap of 6, no matter how many mindscapes you have, and last a full minute before expiring. 2 of them are created by Basic Attack 5. 6 of them are created by EX Special, Chain Attack, Basic Attack 5 after Chain Attack, and Shock Anomaly if there are no other Quivers on field. Doesn't need to be triggered by Harumasa either. By themselves, they don't actually do anything, but under certain circumstances, such as when using Falling Feather, the aim shot attack, they will be consumed to fire at the enemy and be converted into Electro Prison. Electro Prison are the X mark stacks you get on an enemy. It's these that let Harumasa access his enhanced dash attacks, with 2 stacks yielding 1 dash. So when 6 Quivers hit an enemy, they become 6 Prison stacks, which gives you 3 dash attacks. Keep in mind they only last 10 seconds though, so you really don't want to have Prison stacks on an enemy unless you're going to be using them immediately. But this is not the only reason to understand the distinction between Quivers and Prison. First, you need to know that they can exist simultaneously. You can have Quivers on field and Prison stacks on the enemy at the same time. This means you can do dash attacks twice, back to back, without needing to create any additional Quivers. The second reason you need to remember their difference is because they have different caps. You can only have 6 Quivers out on field, but the cap for Prison at Mindscape 0 is 8. In fact, there are passives that let you build up Prison without creating additional Quivers. By default, you only get 3 dash attacks when converting Quivers. But using Harumasa's aim shot at an enemy when they are stunned will also give you 2 extra Prison stacks for free. So if you have 6 Quivers on field, that will take you up to 8 Prison stacks on an enemy, so 4 dash attacks. Heck, because of this 2 Prison stack bonus against stunned enemies, you can do dash attacks without ever needing to build up any Electro Quivers. Although it's not very efficient. The final big distinction between them though is that they don't just have different caps, they handle overcaps differently too. The game explains you can only have 6 Quivers on field, but what happens if you try to generate more? If you try and break the cap? Turns out that the existing Quivers will shoot towards the nearest enemy and become Prison stacks, without an aim shot ever being used. It is this behavior that is key to Harumasa's long combos, because you don't actually need to use aim shots to build up Prison stacks. If 6 Quivers are on field, you can use an EX special and start attacking right away. For as long as you can keep building Quivers, you could keep looping dash attacks without ever having to aim. For example, if you EX and then chain attack, that's 6 Quivers being generated twice, meaning one set is going to become Prison stacks. Then, your basic attack 5 after chain generates another 6, giving you even more dash attacks. When you can't make any more, aim shot to fire the Quivers on field and continue. It's also this overstacking behavior that allows you to build 8 Prison stacks on an enemy without them needing to be stunned, and why the 19-hit combo makes use of a basic attack 5 before the stun period begins. If you have 6 Quivers on field and then do a basic attack 5, that will generate 2 Quivers. Due to the overcap mechanic, that means these 2 excess Quivers will become 2 Prison stacks on an enemy. Then, do an EX special or chain attack, and now you have the remaining 6 Quivers fire onto the enemy, adding on another 6 Prison stacks. 2 from the basic attack plus 6 from your EX or chain is equal to 8, which at 2 stacks per dash attack gives us 4 dash attacks. Little things like these are what allows us to maximize the number of hits you can fit into the stun period. And there are other neat little tricks too. As mentioned before, one of the ways to generate 6 Quivers is through inflicting a shock anomaly on the enemy. Thing is, the game is clear in saying that we'll only generate 6 Quivers if there are none on field. This means that if you happen to trigger Anomaly while there's even just a single Quiver out, you'll be wasting the bonus entirely. It just so happens though that if you trigger Anomaly through a chain attack, the Quivers generated by the Anomaly passive appear before the ones generated by the chain attack. This means that if you can perfectly time your Anomaly proc to occur during your chain attack, you get 6 prison stacks, hence 3 dash attacks, as well as 6 Quivers lingering on the field too. This is key for the 19 hit combo. If you mess it up, like getting it too early or too late, and the whole combo falls apart. At the same time, it doesn't need to be perfect. Remember, so long as there are no Quivers on the field, it will work. So if you trigger it after the aim shot has cleared them, then you're good. But if it triggers just a little too early, even on the aim shot itself, then it will ruin the combo. Of course, this can be quite difficult to line up in longer fights, like Deadly Assault. For that, you want to use a double chain combo instead. And talking about chains, the key to executing these combos lies with the manual chain attack. For those not familiar with it, manual chain attacks is a toggle that lets you avoid triggering a chain for as long as you hold down either the special button or the basic attack button. This is a big deal because of the 6 Quiver generation you get on every chain attack. This means that if you can stagger its use, you can choose when to build additional Quivers in the combo. Without this, any EX special or dash attack from Harumasa would immediately be interrupted with a chain attack prompt, leading to Quivers overcapping when you already have unspent prison stacks, or just interrupting your combo outright. It's a waste of stacks. With manual chain attacks, it's possible to choose when to swap to Nicole after all prison stacks are spent, and trigger a Harumasa chain attack to generate more Quivers, right when you want it. It's this, combined with the Anomaly Quiver generation, that allows you for the crazy long 19 hit strings. Since you can choose when to chain attack, that means you can synchronize both the chain attack and the Anomaly to happen right when you need Quivers the most. But even without Anomaly, manual chain attack can be used to add more hits to the combo. This is where you can double chain attack. All that timing the Anomaly is for is to generate 6 extra Quivers. So if you can get the extra Quivers from a second chain instead, then it still adds up to the same value. With longer and more difficult fights, this lets you do more consistent combos without needing to perfectly time your Anomaly to your chains. It does mean you can't quite get both 19 hits and the ultimate in the stun period, as Harumasa's chain attack animation is quite long. But by sacrificing just 1 hit, you can still do 18 hits and clip in the ultimate just before Nicole's buff and the stun period ends. Of course, you can just do a 19 hit if Harumasa's ultimate isn't up. The first combo though, that had 19 hits and an ultimate. Unfortunately, that's a tech that you just can't do with a double chain. And that is ultimate animation cancelling. Harumasa's chain attack, EX special and ultimate all have very long animations. Anytime you're not dash attacking is time wasted. For this reason, you really don't want to be sitting on their recovery frames. When it comes to EX special, this can mean swapping to Nicole for an ultimate or EX. For Harumasa's ultimate though, well, you can't swap out of it. The whole animation has to play, including recovery. There's an even bigger problem too. It is you're forced to swap despite manual chain attack mode, as unlike other moves, ultimates will always cause a chain attack prompt to appear if available, no matter how many buttons you hold down. It's because of this that in the double chain rotation you can only use the ultimate after all chain attack procs are used up. Otherwise, it'll force you to use another character's chain instead. But what if you could trigger a chain attack before the ultimate finishes? The cool thing about Harumasa is that, although most of your damage is coming from sword slashes, he is an archer. His ranged attacks are physical objects, projectiles that have an in-game travel time. So by using Harumasa's EX special, then using ultimate after the heavy attack arrow is fired, but before it hits the enemy, you can trigger the chain attack prompt halfway through the ultimate animation. After all, it's only after the ultimate gets used that the EX special arrow lands. This isn't new tech either. Zhe Yuan has long benefited from the same gimmick. For this tech, you can swap into Nicole to get us out of the ultimate animation lock, as another chain or quick assist will always take precedence over any other animation, causing the ultimate recovery frames to be cut short. One thing to be aware of though is that the distance between Harumasa and the enemy is critical to pulling this off. The further away, the less stringent the timing is. And if you try it at point blank, the EX will hit before you're even given a single frame to try an ultimate. So how can you get this to be consistent after dash attacks when Harumasa's right up with the enemy? The answer is by using the aim shot, then dash cancelling it into EX special. This has another purpose too. A Quiver set up from the chain attack beforehand will fire, all the while giving us the +G prison bonus from stunned enemies. So you're both building enough distance to do the ultimate animation cancel, and setting up prison stack so that you can start dash attacking right after the quick assist. A mild blowback from the aim shot can be useful at creating distance, but only one often isn't enough to be able to EX into the ultimate animation cancel. Unlike ultimate or EX special though, this is dash cancelable at any point. If you compare the speed between the aim shot with and without dash cancelling, it becomes clear just how much difference it can make. And by dash cancelling backwards, you're not only speeding up your combo, but also building enough distance to perform the ultimate animation cancel. Thing is, you don't just want to be using this animation cancel for the ultimate, you want to be doing it for every aim shot in the combo. The difference may seem small, but it adds up to at least one dash attack's worth in time. And you really can dash cancel it at any time, so don't get too hasty. We've covered Harumasa a lot, but his combo optimization is very much based around his team. Although I did say that this isn't a team guide, that doesn't mean that Harumasa's teams don't impact his rotation. The purpose of the combo, after all, is not to get the most number of dash attacks, but to maximize your damage output. Qingyi alone will make it much easier to build up Anomaly if you want to time it with your chain attack. If you don't have her, then Ambi's value is much higher. Even if you could build more stun with, say, Kaleda or Lycon, missing out on that shot gain may influence your combos. So, no, you don't need Qingyi, but if you don't use her, that will impact your ability to line up your anomalies depending on what stun character you use. Ambi could help you with that, but if a rotation that lines up with the anomaly ends up taking more time than just, well, stunning outright, none of this really matters and any stunner will do, and you can just use a double chain combo. But stunners are just a setup. The most important team slot for Harumasa really is the support. This is because these combos revolve around maintaining as much uptime and support buffs and debuffs as possible. For Nicole, this means not a single hit of the combo going unbuffed. The points in which you swap to any other support can be translated pretty easily to others that aren't Nicole. Rina, especially with her Wenjin, can give big benefits from being used mid-rotation. And unless you have her at Mindscape 1, you want to swap into her just as often as Nicole to keep the Bang Boo on field for the pen ratio bonus. Each character does have their own quirks though. Rina's EX takes a lot longer to trigger chain compared to Nicole. This doesn't matter as much on the 19-hit combo, but it absolutely does on the double chain, which makes her not be viable in that rotation. But Rina's ultimate can make her unwieldy in most rotations anyways, as it doesn't proc chain attack instantly like Nicole's. This means most combos just won't be able to hit as many dash attacks due to this. On the other hand, Nicole's ultimate can be too fast at times. If you EX special from Harumasa, then swap into Nicole ultimate straight away, you will trigger a chain attack before the quivers have been set. This means you can only Harumasa EX into Nicole ultimate when there are no chain attacks to proc, so that you can control the quick assist timing. Rina being slower means that this isn't a problem for her, so you can adapt rotations to use Harumasa's EX special before Rina's ultimate. Her ultimate also hits a lot harder than Nicole's. Even if you lose a dash attack, a Mindscape 0 Rina can still be comparable to a Mindscape 6 Nicole through the ultimate damage alone. And to be fair, Nicole can be quite a pain to use sometimes, as in most rotations, you want to swap to her before a dash attack hits to save time. But if you're just a little late on the swap, the off-field dash attack will push the enemy back and yeah. So again, it's not about how many hits you get in the combo, it's about how much damage you do in that combo. Not to mention the core passive buffs can enable certain disc sets, like Thunder Metal, by extending the duration of Anomaly. It's because of this that you have to be mindful of how your drive discs factor in too. The 19-hit combos are impressive, but the stun duration is around 13 seconds in game. That means if you're using Hormone Punk and you set up a basic attack 5 in advance, then most of your combo will be missing out on the buff as you have wasted it during the setup. Maybe you could time it so that it's on cooldown when you basic attack 5 and comes off just as you begin the burst and fall, but remember that Prison only lasts 10 seconds before it expires, so the gap can't be big. And now you're keeping track of Anomaly timers, Disc Drive timers, time to stun, Prism timers, and all of this would still be 3 seconds off the total stun time. I mean, if you're bothering to perfectly time everything, then you're getting more mileage by just using Thunder Metal anyways. You get way more combat attack than Hormone Punk, and since Shock lasts 10 seconds, when it procs during the chain attack, it'll buff the remainder of the combo. If you can get it just before the chain attack, then even better, as it will buff the chain attack itself too. Since both last 10 seconds, you're going to be losing anywhere from 4 to 8 dashes on both sets anyways. having that extra 8% combat attack from Thunder Metal applied to all the hits and ultimate is a big deal. And remember Rena's core passive? 3 extra seconds of shock is 3 extra seconds of Thunder Metal. So even if you can't fit all the hits of a combo with Rena due to her slower ultimate and EX, you might still be getting more damage because of that anyways. Of course, that is all assuming that you're then being able to trigger shock just as your combo begins, or halfway through the chain. Failing to do that, and all of these bonuses become worthless. With that in mind, you could also just get 18% combat attack for free with Woodpecker Electro instead. It's just 2% worse than Hormone Punk, and a lot easier to use, given that most combos open with the X special, and when Quivers are converted to Prison, that counts as a basic attack. Since you might want to be on Harumasa to set up the basic attack 5 beforehand, maybe you could even sneak in a dodge counter for an even bigger buff during your opener. When it comes to consistency then, running a 4-piece Woodpecker would let you freestyle your setup rather than needing to obsess over swap timings and cooldowns to the Anomaly gauge. But at the same time, you may get a lot more value out of running something like Thunder Metal instead. As you can see, there's lots of different ways to set up your teams and drive discs, and this is going to impact your rotations. Longer combos are really fun, but they may be weaker than shorter ones that are tailored around your team and discs. What matters is knowing what you can do in any given context, and then being able to execute what best fits the situation. You should now know a lot of things you may not have known before. Let's recap on what we've covered so far. First, you can overstack Quivers to build Prison without needing the aim shot. Second, by timing anomalies at the same time as your chains, you can benefit from both their Quiver generation bonuses simultaneously. Third, the manual chain lets you extend your combos by timing your chain attacks, and by choosing who gets to trigger it, you can have 2 Harumasa chains in one stun. And lastly, there's plenty of useful animation cancels to help you save time. From cancelling ultimate with VX special or aim shots or dashes, every last frame counts. And that's all the knowledge needed to understand and pull off even the most complex of combos. So let's go back to them and do things once again. This time, step by step, with a little more explanation. Let's start with a 19-hit combo. At the very beginning of it all, you need 6 Quivers sitting on field. On Shiyu, you can get this pretty easily by chain attacking or triggering Anomaly on normal mobs. Against bosses, like Deadly Assault, you can just basic attack multiple times before the fight begins. Then, you work out a rotation that will get the Anomaly gauge to a little over 3/4 full when the combo starts. This usually means having it around halfway if you plan on doing a basic attack 5 on Harumasa and standing with Qingyi charge basics or MBX special. After that, a parry of Harumasa sets him up to both build more Anomaly and do a basic attack 5 to pre-build 2 Prison stats. If you're cheeky, you can even get a dodge attack for Woodpecker. Then, set up your stun, use Nicole EX special to debuff the enemy, and open with Harumasa's EX special. You note in the combo notation that I have a line extending from the EX special. This is because it is at this moment that you hold the special button and keep holding it for as long as the line goes. The EX special will build an additional 6 Quivers on field, which fires the previous 6. On top of the 2 we've built with basic attack 5, that gives us 8 stacks, which means 4 dashes. When they're over, use the aim shot and dash cancel the animation into 4 more dashes. But just as the 4th dash begins, swap to Nicole and use her ultimate. As at this point you can let go of the special button. This will trigger a chain, where you swap back to Harumasa. You can see in the notation that I have a special input, but no specials actually performed. This is because during the animation log from the chain attack, you can begin holding down the button for manual chain without performing the move. At this point, the chain will hit and the Anomaly will trigger. Cancel the chain and perform 3 dashes. After all, we only have 6 Quivers and 6 Prison stacks on the enemy, so we can do no more. As soon as that's over, aim shot and dash cancel it backwards to build the distance you need to perform the ultimate animation cancel. And there, it's the EX special and a well-timed ultimate. That will trigger chain, after which you use quick assist to cancel the ultimate animation. Since we use the aim shot just before doing the animation cancel, the enemy has 8 Prison stacks, which gives us 4 dashes. And since we use EX special before the ultimate, there's 6 Quivers on stage, which means we can make use of it with another aim shot right after, for the final 4 attacks. And we haven't used a basic attack 5 after the chain, so you can go from the dashes straight into it, setting up 6 Quivers for your next stun rotation. Now rinse and repeat. Although to be fair, it's unlikely you have ultimates ready for your second burst, and you're almost guaranteed to not be able to line up Anomaly then, so that's when you can make use of other combos instead. But before we go to some of these other combos, let's break down the double chain as well. We built up 6 Quivers before, do a basic attack 5, same as the 19-hit one, except we really don't care about Anomaly here. The opener is exactly the same, but the differences begin after using Nicole's ultimate. Here, we trigger Harumasa's chain, as usual, but instead of holding down special, we're holding down both special and basic attack buttons at the same time. After cancel, since you're holding down basic, this will trigger an automatic follow-up in Harumasa's kit, which functions just like the aim shot does. This means we're building 8 prison stacks on the enemy from the 6 quivers generated by the chain attack, so that's 4 dash attacks. Since we don't have any quivers on the field now, we skip the aim shot and go straight into EX special. Remember, ultimates always trigger chain, so we can't use it on Harumasa just yet. Instead, we swap to Nicole and EX special, triggering Harumasa's chain and animation cancelling the recovery on his EX special. 6 quivers from the EX plus 6 quivers from the chain means 1 set gets converted to prison, and that's 3 dash attacks. Aim shot to use up the quivers on field, 3 more dash attacks and ultimate just before Nicole's buff and the stun period runs out. And there you have it. With this, you should be able to understand how Harumasa combos work and adapt them to any situation. You may not be able to get a 19 hit combo every time, but that's not what matters. If you understand the character, then you can get the most value for what you've got. At the start, I asked you to comment your longest combo before watching. If it wasn't 19, then I hope you have learned how to pull it off, but also learned that you don't have to do it to be optimal. Now that you have a fundamental understanding of how these combos work, you should be well poised to make up your own rotations and know how to adjust on the fly. I thank you all for watching, and do give a like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, you know the deal. Let me know if you'd like to see a video on combos of different mindscapes. For now though, that's all from me. I'll see you all next time.